Oi, can you drop me an op? I'm going mid. Why, mate? Are you kidding me? I am a brilliant dropper. I am the Nico of this team.
But Nico doesn't even op.
Oh, okay, fine. I'm the Kenny S. Do you not trust in my skills? Just give it to me. Give me the op, please.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Timing is an important element to consider while playing CSGO. Getting into position early and setting up a strong angle can give you a considerable advantage over your opponents. Your spawn point can further amplify this advantage. This guy right here is closer to mid and to B than he is to A. That guy right there is closer to the A site. Therefore, it's only logical that this guy should either head to mid or B, while that guy should play on the A site. Today, we will explore important timings and spawn points in Mirage and how to utilize them to improve your game. Let's begin with mid, an all-time favorite area for oppers to pick duels and find opening frags. For our first example, let's consider the duel between this CT standing on sniper nest and a terrorist at the top of mid. Do note that for all these examples, we will consider that both sides have an optimal spawn, which means that nobody on either team is dumb enough to go mid when they do not have a good spawn. The CT takes approximately 6 seconds to get into the sniper nest, whereas the terrorist takes about 7 seconds to get to the top of mid. This means that the CT already has an advantage at this location since he will already be scoped in when the terrorist arrives, allowing the CT to get the jump on him. Oh, well, that isn't true. There are ways to counter that. You can always throw a smoke in the sniper nest window and completely deny him the fight. Or you can throw a passing smoke and get to the boxes. This then puts the CT in a rough spot because he has to watch multiple different angles, and the only place that the terrorists need to worry about is the connector. While we are on the subject, let's shift our focus to spawn points and timings at connector. If the designated CT opper is closer to the A site, he can go from A to connector in order to watch mid, instead of going to sniper nest. However, note that doing this takes about 9 seconds, while as previously mentioned, the terrorist will reach top of mid in around 7 seconds. To make things harder for the CTs, the terrorists can even smoke off connector from T-spawn. But that's enough about mid. Let's talk about the B site now. Surprisingly, at B, the chances of winning an opening duel are in the favor of the terrorists. For the sake of this example, we will assume that the CT will position himself on top of the van. If a terrorist wants to get a pick on that guy, the person with the closest spawn to B must rush. It takes both sides about 12 seconds to get to this position, making the chances pretty even. The only advantage that the terrorist might have is that while jumping on the van, the CT's aim could be a little inconsistent. While it's unlikely that this will happen at higher ranked games, jumping does make your aim a little inaccurate for a while. So the terrorist can get to the apartments, and if he gets there quickly, he can take an angle and he might just be able to get a kill. But the chances are, after you've done this a couple of times, that CT will probably never climb up the van again. To deal with this, that guy could just smoke apartments or simply pick a new angle to play with. On the A side, the CTs will pretty much always have an advantage because they spawn literally next to the bomb site. This gives them ample of time to set up favorable angles. However, as the terrorist positioned at A main, you might just be able to get a kill onto the CT going towards connector if you are fast enough. Remember, the CT takes around 9 seconds to get from CT spawn to connector via the A site. The terrorists take about 7 seconds to get from T spawn to the bottom of A main. With good timing and an AWP, and with a little bit of luck, an early pick is not impossible. While these are not really complicated concepts, having them in mind can always give you an edge over less prepared opponents. There is no guarantee that these will always succeed, because even when you have the advantage of timing and taking the position before your enemy does, you can still get out-aimed if your opponent decides to pre-fire or if they're simply having a good day. Of course, another unfortunate scenario is if your teammates block your path as you're trying to hurry to your position. Move, bitch! That's all for today's video, folks. Those were my basic pointers for playing on Mirage. If you think this video has helped you, leave a like. If there's pointers you'd like to share with us, drop a comment below. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more CSGO content. This is Scribs signing out.
I'm coming home.